So you're looking at numbers that you probably can't
Neil,
see.
can you see that? Sorry, Neil, can you see that? Yeah.
I did send you a copy to your email as well, so you can look at that on your PC or whatever. You probably can't look at them. You don't need to look at us, you can look at the numbers, whatever works. So, okay. I used to be the finance officer for Heisen, but I've been gone for a considerable amount of time. Maybe John, could you summarize what's going on here, vaguely?
I'm doing my best. All my input so far is on just creating the spreadsheet itself, so the figures I'm still getting familiar with. But basically, we have you've got the email there actually. But there's in that, so yeah.
Budget.
Yeah. So it's 14,000. Yeah. Right. In essence, we need to find of what we have at the moment another. Keep this number in mind, £14,771.05. Keep that in mind, that's all I see there.
Okay.
Can I write on the flipboard chart?
Yes, flip chart. I
Just
thought you were trying to remember it.
Because nobody will remember it. I'm not remembering it. 14,000. All right. All right. Perhaps we can write the number.
Okay, so Dane, what is the object of this?
Yeah, I'm trying to sort of figure that out myself. Did I actually close the window? I think I closed the window on my email. So, oh no, here it is. It's at 14,771. Yeah.
05.
Yeah,
Right.
5.
Yeah, the purpose of this event, or this part of the debate, it's an event, yes it is. It's budget review. The budget was proposed in.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll give a bit of background quickly.
Yeah.
Budget. The budget is drawn up usually by the sabbatical officers around March time. It is submitted to UHI as a request for a block grant. It's the negotiations that go into it, and at the end of those negotiations, a figure comes out. And then, after that point, we work with that. Usually the figures, what we projected and what we actually get in the end, don't always come out flush, and we have to kind of change what we want. But then, the point is to bring those figures to student council to have the body ratify that this is indeed how they would like that money to be spent, or if they have any disagreements over, no, that shouldn't be spent on thousands of dollars on, lollipops and whatever. So that's what this is for. However, I believe there was a change in something, which is why the original budget was for that number. We have that much less than we should. Yes. Yeah. There was had originally been something else in the budget.
So was the budget originally approved in April?
There's a draft budget that goes to UHI, and then they agree to say this much. Now, in the draft budget, we justify these various things that we would like to do. They will give us money, which may not be what we asked for, and therefore we will have to trim things out and make it fit. And I think that's then the operation budget. That's actually what we're doing. That's why it's so much up. And then you would normally what would be done is I would receive back from UHI saying, well, this is what we'll give you. You asked for X amount more, but we're not going to give you that. Now you decide how you want, now you go with that. And so because we'd asked more, you have to scale back various areas. Now, the reason that this is being done now, as opposed to before, usually what I did last year was I took that, and I did scaling, and then I took my projection here to student council to ratify it. People could disagree with how I, arranged and decided to put funds. But the difference is, this year there isn't one of me, so it didn't actually, no one has done the scaling before this point. And I know John's been working on it, and other people as well, but it hasn't been fully scaled back like it should have been, or would have been in previous years when there was someone actually doing the finance, functioning as a finance officer, because that was one of the two important remits of the president. Does that all make sense? No?
Right, and well, there's a budget that you guys think you need, and then there's correct me, Ian, will you correct me if I'm wrong here because I'm a bit vague on the specifications. But we, as United, we have a requirement we put for the budget proposal, and it's UHI who decide the actual budget and how much we can get for funding. And when there's a big gap, we have to work out in our budget where we can draw back. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's exactly the process that I go through for my own budget, John.
Yeah, it's just normal process with the budget. So that's where we're at. And the amount that, and this again, if you know differently, please say. Not wrong.
Wrong.
That's it. Yeah. So in this area here, 129,416 is the actual budget that we have. Is that your roughly what you're?
Shall I just briefly add to the
Please,
background? It might help us that I have to say, Dane did a really good job in the budget negotiation, and he prepared extremely well, and the meetings that he argued the case very strongly, and it's resulted in the highest ever allocation of 129,000, which is the highest UHI has ever been allocated. The total figure that was agreed was higher than that, but that included the reserves that UHI have and any underspend from last year. And I think it's important for this discussion to realise that UHISA has never spent all the money it's had in any particular year. And it got to the point 2 or 3 years ago that we actually got a really low allocation just to try and use up some of the money that was in the bank. So that the one, in terms of how much money do you have to allocate across this academic year, that 129 figure is correct.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
Jonathan.
it's actually what's coming from UHI, and the total actually at the bottom there. I'm just looking at that, and that matches up with the figure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's the 159. But can I just, sorry, the point I was trying to make badly there was that budget is still subject to change.
Yeah.
I don't yet, from in my own area, have a finalised budget for the rest of this financial year. Yeah. So it may stay the same. It may go up, it may go down.
Yeah. And I believe one of the contributing factors to that was the changeover of the principles, which changed. Normally the budgets would have been finalised sooner than they have, but because the principle changed and he had a different sort of, wanted to have more of a influence on how things were going to shape out, because he came in right at the end of the process. The whole budget dialogue, which would have happened earlier, is now taking place a bit later, and sort of extended. And I think that's part of the why.
That's true. It's also there's a different funding methodology within the partnership, and there's going to be what's called a reforecast done this month. And at that point, they'll say, right, Eliza, this is your definite final figure. Ian, this is your definite final figure, etc., etc. Local running the university. But all you can do is work on the assumption of what. And this is I got the finance director confirmed the 159. That's what you've got to plan for.
That's what we're looking for. Yeah. So and it's not many we've managed to get down to the 308. And incidentally, that figure is there and it's at that size because when anyone needs to put forward for a budget, you always go for as much as you possibly can. That is just common sense, unless anyone's got an objection to that. And you're never going to get what you ask for, so you get something from this company. So we've managed to shave down to 174,307. That is, I think, works out as that figure. I'll just check it. I think that the is. Alright. So we are looking to find roughly 15,000 in this budget that we have, and we've broken it down into months. So it makes it a bit easier to shave off, micro shave, what we would call that, down to that level. So is it making any more sense? No. Yes. Okay.
Vaguely.
Is this something that you want to do for a start?
I ask a question. I noticed you've got like a salary plus sabbatical travel and stuff like that. Isn't this all just going to depend on the outcome of the vote of no confidence?
It's possible to.
Yes.
Yes.
Is this budget? Obviously, the deputy president has resigned. Nobody is restanding for that election. Has that potential salary been removed from the budget?
That was actually Heidi informed that has actually been used to Claire.
It's been.
I'm getting the deputy salary at the moment.
Right.
That's like if they had the deputy, then they would be an admin assistant. But
because there's no deputy, I'm getting the deputy's salary. So if somebody stood in the by-election for deputy president, I would be out and they would get their own salary back.
Okay.
I asked that too.
It would make sense if there's no deputy to cut that from the budget and then, yeah, we have
So
more.
surely the easiest way to get this budget would you simply vote out Rachel. Then we wouldn't have to review this at all.
Real politics comes to the floor.
And we would pay a check to hire everybody. We'd have a great budget. I would like to note that was in jest.
Yes, yes, it absolutely was. So these there's budget codes down here as well at the bottom. No, but that's just with the tabs at the bottom. So they're split. We've split them into. I think this is budget codes from finance, and I think it's from UHI finance. And this is what determined. Out of curiosity, there's no 13. Is that just a super special effect?
13.
Just not asking a question because back my brain just in line, so maybe there is.
There is no 13.
Unless it's on code, but they decided that they didn't.
It's
No,
yes.
no, they don't.
That's for the Secret World Domination Fund.
Oh no, it's the fund to fund Rachel's 2 flats.
Again, that is in jest, and we've had a conversation about that again. Anyway,
Later.
Yes, later on.
Isn't it a bit crazy to not have a surplus and contingency
Well-
fund?
That's the reserve.
The
Oh, right. So
Yeah,
why
the
has
reserve
it
is
been put in?
Can you explain the reserve?
yeah. Well, what happens is
I think we know what a reserve is. It's the
Yeah, it's
fact
put
that
that you've got surplus and
Surplus and
contingency in
contingency,
every
there's nothing in
page.
it.
that is that
Where is that page?
Line
Number
13 of the first
here?
one.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
This
why
is
I
added
thought.
on. Is this number after
That's
the
where it's
reserve,
come from.
after reserve has come on top from last year? Have you added the reserves on top of everything else?
To be in.
Where did you stick the
I
extra?
think it seems to seem like if there's any surplus from the board,
It's not there.
But the surplus from last year
We'll go
was
into the code.
Where is it?
By 10. Level 10. So it's contingency, so there should be 10. I'm not sure. I haven't done any review on this. Heidi, sorry.
I could probably explain that. UHISA could take a stance that they wanted to build up a surplus, and so they would allocate some of the 159 to this year to build up more of the reserves, and that's really what it is. The university always would have something in that line because we're looking to have money to invest in new stuff.
Just haven't decided
But-
what yet.
But
general reserve.
it would go into the general reserve at the end of the year and increase to 10,000. But I think probably, well, this is your decision, but probably sensibly, John's thinking, well, we've got money, we'll still have 10,000 in reserve, and let's spend what we've got, given that the representation project is coming along next year.
That's a discussion Rachel and I had.
So we do have 10k put aside for a reserve, a contingency fund already.
Wait, is that in the spreadsheet?
But right in the spreadsheet, well, I thought it was.
It is.
It's been no. It's in the small. It's in the area on the side there. The total. It's in the total, and not in the.
I see. But if we scroll over to the side,
Yeah,
This
sorry,
one,
that 10,000
there we
is
go.
sitting there. It is
Got a little bit
represented
at the top.
within the budget that we're looking for. So I think it's just the way it's been.
But we're not adding anything more to that reserve this year.
No,
Right.
no.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Right.
could well be my fault.
Okay.
So is that top table the summary of all the
Yeah.
monthly tables?
Yes. Yes.
So that's the annual budget at the top.
Yeah. So if you see a large amount here that we think we can share off, we can follow down and find out the months as well, because sometimes the allocation for the months we have could be slightly different as well.
Yes.
What is the miscellaneous card?
Miscellaneous is generally for things like bank fees and odd charges that don't fit in other places. There are costs incurred to the banking and things like that. That's pretty much all that is. And the 1,000 is just, it's there, but that's not. You can probably cut down to 500, to be honest. I think.
The sabbatical subsistence. What is the sabbatical subsistence? Is that just getting paid to?
Travel assistance, an executive travel assistance that is having meals away from home, as you would in any business.
As well as accommodation and that sort of thing for, if you want to send someone out to Newcastle, then they need to stay overnight, etc.
And they're food while they're travelling.
You can come and crash on my couch and we'll sit with people.
Yeah. Oh, there's a reason why we don't.
When you say stationery, please tell me that doesn't just mean like pens and paper. How are you spending $1,000 odd on pens and paper?
It would be business cards. It would be
Printing.
Bilingual headed papers.
That was
I've got maybe for all this thing.
Right, we just built it for them.
I think that's been dropped. Or is it? No, it hasn't.
No, it's surprising how much laptops, like when you try and cut ours, or do that in the shop as well.
Oh, well, that's it.
It is surprising how much like business costs.
And that is laptops as well. That's
All right, okay, that makes it a bit better.
And I think that's because we couldn't find a place for laptops because we had another budget code for IT equipment. I think it was just more convenient to do.
Yeah.
So who's getting a new laptop?
Anything about that?
I'm not sure, but no idea. Maybe you know.
I have not gotten. I need one, but I have not gotten it yet.
Yeah, so I think that's what the
Two
budget
people,
is.
yeah, there's 2 new Dell laptops in
One
August.
was,
So,
Rachel has gotten a new one because she didn't have one.
But was that not in last
Yeah.
year's budget?
that should have been out last year.
but yeah, and then it's
Should be.
just something that we know.
Why are
And
you
so there's the
doing
deputy president's laptop and there's the DP's laptop. The DP, we don't have a deputy president, so that can be carried on to next year.
Yeah.
We don't have a deputy. Nobody's using the deputy's laptop. It's in Nest Walk.
So surely that could be given to Heidi. Or Heidi.
Yeah, Heidi could have that one, and the one that Heidi's work got that's kind of, that it doesn't turn on half the
Doesn't
time.
turn
That one, so you don't need 2 laptops. Or if we buy a new laptop for Heidi, then you don't need to buy a new one for the deputy president, and that the deputy presidents could go on to next year's one.
Also, you don't need solid-state drives in your laptops. That's driving up the cost
Yeah,
right
that
there.
was,
A traditional hard drive
Yeah.
would be a fraction of the price.
That was what was quoted to us from, if I remember correctly, the IT network. There was initial, we had a lot of discussion about that as well because we thought it seemed like quite a lot.
You've been written off. That has been highly inflated figure.
I would contest, I think everybody here should contest why 2 laptops are being taken out of the budget this year. When, as you said, Rachel's should be out of last year's budget.
It should have been
And there doesn't actually need to be one for Heidi.
I can test the number and the models you're buying.
Yes.
I'm assuming there's actually having to buy it, so therefore that's not an issue. And that
And again, it says 5 different sets of business cards. Who are those 5 people?
yeah, 5.
They're also double-sided, aren't they? Yeah, they're going to have more expensive anyway.
Can Vistaprint not knock up like 500 of them for fibre or something?
Probably can't be double-sided ones.
But no, they're double-sided, man. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, and there is an element to remember that they are supposed to be representing us, you know.
Yeah. And also try to keep this as
Yeah, the number 5. The number 5, and actually this is going to pop up several places. Number 5 was in the original budget. That was something that I submitted previously. Hello! Are you trying to come into the United Student Council? Or
They are, yes. Felix and Sam, hello. I sent you an email. We're running incredibly late, so you have joined us for budget discussions, which I'm sure you'll be delighted about. Which we will not, but we won't get to the good, kind of exciting clubs and societies talk. So probably we're looking about 3:30.
Okay.
3:30.
We'll just dial in at 3:30.
You just join in on the fun, guys.
Nice to have you, nice to have you.
Okay.
What I was going to say
See you at
is...
3:30.
Yeah, number 5.
Sorry, carry on. Or is it
I
just...
think they were just saying that we'll see you soon.
Alright, excellent. Yeah, the number 5. This is the problem, is all this should have been...
Well,
yeah.
there is a document that these are kind of notes on, and
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I probably wrote the document, so I know what it is, but problem. We need to send me a copy of this.
Well, yeah, I think we need to discussion to write it down. But if we can get to the point where we maybe can get 15,000 out before.
It can probably be pulled out. The number 5, the original budget that I submitted had a general manager. That was removed completely during the budget negotiations. I don't know if that's why there's a 5th person. And that the 5th person seems to be added in here and in several other places.
So did that help save some money?
I'm looking at the review figure and I think that there's no note in figure that.
You think that's
It's
already
already been
taken
done.
it?
That was at 450 figure of people.
Wait, sorry, James. That's one. Who are the other 4?
Well, actually, we could actually drop. We could drop one actually down to 3, 2.
Yeah.
You could because originally the idea would be there would be
VP and
VP.
general manager were 5.
VP
The other two
general
would
manager.
be-
There was the second VP.
second VP,
Yeah.
and nobody's due.
Those
Well,
yeah.
it was never passed
It
it.
never passed.
Look,
Right, okay, that's
it's in the minutes that were
So that's
contested.
4.
Please.
Yeah, that's 4 people. So that's
We
4.
can still drop it
So you want?
down actually.
Okay. What? So how many people?
Well, there's only one vice president and one president at the moment.
So it's 2.
In theory, yeah.
But there's me. There's me. There's not
There's
me.
Claire.
Okay.
I want to be paid for the hell that I'm going through.
No, this is about business cards.
It's just business
We're
cards.
talking about business.
I don't get business cards. Then
Why
The
is it
one we
being
paid
budgeted
for.
for?
Well, the intention was to help.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're talking specifically
This
about
is
business
one-
cards.
If Rachel and Heidi have business cards,
You should
as
get
it stands,
So it should be £89.90 and not
I
£179.
Okay.
do we
Everyone.
think
But they are going to get
Right, let's move this forward. That is a very valid argument. Do you need business cards?
no?
Okay, so can we just have this stuff?
So then it'd be £89.90.
8, 9, and then 8. If you change that to 8,
do you
9.
want to change it here? Just
I'm
notes.
going to say notes.
Okay. I noticed as well, if we go back to the overview,
See, before we go back, see while we're on that
Yeah.
page,
where we're
we
on.
sort of skip past the laptops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, yeah.
We don't need them, obviously.
We've just had that, yeah.
Yeah, so just
No.
take both those laptops off. and
One's
that
been
saves
taken
you-
off. The second one has been left on. It was taken out, but I think there's been advice to put it back in. I'm going to interrogate that further because I'm not sure if I'm going to go through it.
Please try and source a
Right,
cheaper
right, 'cause-
one. You
Oh
want-
no, listen,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
can look
you
at
want
this as
it.
much as I want to spend on a business laptop because all you need is for very basic stuff.
Yeah, because there's a laptop not being used at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
We
sitting in
have
this
3
one.
functioning laptops right now.
Rachel's got a functioning laptop and Heidi's got one that doesn't switch on.
Do you have
So
a
we do
functional
need to
laptop?
replace one.
No,
No.
I had to fight when I came into office, like when I went to office, when I came into my office,
Okay.
I had a fight on my hands because HTC wasn't originally giving me a computer because they thought Heiser was meant to be giving me one and Heiser wasn't giving me one because they thought HTC was meant to have one. So I have a computer from HTC,
Okay.
but I don't have a laptop at all. So,
So 2 of the 3 people need laptops. There's one laptop already available, so we do still need one.
Technically, yes.
Right.
How old is that laptop? Do you know?
so you're one.
Mine was I have no idea, but I vaguely recall someone saying Alan complained in the executive meetings about this laptop.
Right, so we look at the age of it and go on to it. I mean, I don't even know what's going on.
I really don't, to be honest, use it that well. She doesn't turn on
That
it
is
or use
definitely
it, can I?
really, really one that, and that could save us.
It has, we can have this conversation, but to be honest, I think there's
Yeah.
slightly more important.
Right. So the laptop.
That's a potential.
It's not a big, it's not a detriment to my work, is to be honest.
Potential.
So,
That's stationary. That's 509.
We've looked at all stations.
Should we look at it first, Heidi?
I know. I need
Is
to-
that clear for the laptop thing? I'm not happy with spending money on a big laptop, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, no, you can get a cheaper one
Yeah,
anyway.
I'll just see it. Usually
Yeah.
before the day.
Thing is-
Well, I mean, I think you don't, definitely don't have to spend that much money.
No.
But
Okay,
I'd
so
say,
he wants budget just a little bit over just in case something comes up or, like,
Yeah.
I guess a little bit of cushioning, but
Right, so even at this stage we can take, say, 600 off.
Even like £500,
Yeah.
you'd still get a pretty decent laptop. I think my laptop that I got did not cost that amount of money.
I would never pay more than £400.
I think we should change the budget to
but
300.
Put down 500, and that way you've got
then
money
you've
to
got
play
like
with.
a safe cushion in case something happens.
To be honest, you'll get it for like 350.
Yeah, check, actually, do you want to put
Really,
Yeah,
realistically.
you can pick up.
Yeah, and then we'll see what that's at.
Does it automatically?
It will, yeah. Just make a change of that.
So what was the big idea? We're cutting one laptop out? We need one
What do you
laptop.
take?
And we
Right, how much do you think we should be putting in the budget here right now? 500 you're suggesting?
For
for one
I
year.
would, but that will leave surplus, I can guarantee you.
How about
It'll be
overhead
surplus,
plan?
but it'll leave a safety net.
500.
Yeah, it's
Maximum.
been 500 because that will cover.
Good.
That's documented read only.
That'll cover any, if you need to put Word on it, operating systems, anything like that.
Oh, we
Kevin.
need notes.
Why
Kevin Sinclair is wanting to talk.
Sorry,
Chairperson.
I've lost track of what you're saying about how many laptops you need, but I know Claire's got a computer from HTC, but media should probably be behind it as a laptop. Maybe you can
Yeah, so that we're buying one new one for either Claire or Heidi, and the other person can have looks living with that.
sorry, I should have put more attention.
There's also the mobile phones.
Yeah, that's a
cost
very
as
high
much this year because only Heidi and Rachel have a mobile phone. So there's a mobile phone that's sitting in this swap still. Oh no, I asked that one as well when I started, but no, I don't.
Okay, what is so the mobile phones already exist?
Yes.
So what is the two contracts?
Are we? Is you you might know, or Ian? Is Heisa still paying for a contract or a phone that is sitting in this swap, not turned on?
I wouldn't know at this point because I'm not there.
No, but is
Because if
you know from last year, is the phone a pay-as-you-go phone or is it contracted phone?
It's contracted.
So we are paying for a phone that's sitting in this swap doing nothing.
In theory, that would be the case, yeah, I think.
Can we cancel that?
Probably.
Should be able to. Might have to.
And if we can't
Well,
cancel it, surely we should give it to Claire.
Or the payout fee is going to be the same as in
Yeah,
contract.
that's again more review on that. I think. Yeah. Absolutely. But is that so? If there's a phone that's not being used, do we need to use it?
Well, it's sitting in this swap that is switched off.
And what is it? Well, I'm sorry.
It's
I
for
missed that
deputy
part.
president.
Right.
If it's under
You're not
contract
using
though,
it.
it's costing us money.
Because Heidi thought that I should get it when I came into office.
Yeah, that's
So I was
correct.
doing the work of deputy president, but we were told that no, that's not meant to happen.
Yeah.
So it's sitting in this swap, switched off, but we're paying a contract for it.
Yeah.
So it's either that I get it and I use it for the contract's sake, or we cancel the contract.
What's the impact on you personally? Do you have more of a cost if you didn't use that phone?
Well, I've got the one in the office that I can phone people
You
when
don't
I
think,
phone
so
them.
you don't actually think a mobile would be beneficial to you?
Unless I was texting people, members of the exec. But that would be the only
probably
thing.
come out of really Harry's phone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
But I wouldn't see that it would be very beneficial at all.
Right, okay.
It's not like I spend days out of the office and need to check my emails on it.
You don't
John,
have
I've
to
just,
do it all.
John, sorry, I'm just emailing Melissa firstly about the laptop, find it, and pass it on to Heidi, and I'll mention, find wherever this phone is, and I'll ask the question, is it on contract or not?
Yeah,
You should be, and once we know that, you can decide what you
See,
That'd be great, thank you.
see, in terms of the mobile phone,
Yeah.
before cancelling a contract or whatever, what's the situation next year? Is UHISA just going to stop? Yeah, like, you know, because is there a need for planning for a deputy president being elected?
Well,
Or,
you
you know-
could restart the contract.
But you'd also might.
That's a good point, and I don't know what the legal obligation there is because that's a new and entirely new business, for want of a better word, or entity. Ian?
At some point this year, if you collectively as UHISA agree, then the route would be to dissolve the association, and there's routes to do that. I think within the constitution, it certainly should be, and before you do dissolve, make a decision what you're going to do about the assets that the association owns. So one thing, you might choose to pass it on to the new association. You might choose to give the laptops to a local charity or something. But it'd be a discussion you'd have and a process to follow on once we know that the project is actually going to lead to something concrete. Secondly, that UHISA is happy to dissolve. But it's a really important question. At some point, you need to pick that up this year about what to do with the assets.
On the mobile phone as well, you might have to watch because if it is a contract phone, you might have to pay. Like if I know that in my contract on my phone at the moment, if I cancel my contract now, I have to pay a certain amount of money.
I think what we should do just now is find the phone and find out what exactly the contract is.
Yeah, and how long, how much longer it is.
I'm pretty sure if it's only a year old or whatever, it's still getting the contract, and maybe I think it's worthwhile to do that.
Yeah.
Again, there's what's going to happen here. Whatever. So I don't mean it as a dismissal.
No.
it's
No, exactly, but that's something else.
Cross
that
that bridge when
we
we get to it.
Exactly, but I'll put it on first, and I'm going to leave that in just now if that's okay. And it's better than we said, we don't know. That's a question mark.
Can I just say that budgets are not my thing. That's why I'm trying to be very quiet because I don't know what I'm talking about. Going back to what I said this morning about regardless of what happens on next Friday, we need to, UHISA as it stands, either with a president or without a president, need to go back to basics and shave off the things we're physically going to be able to do. So I think someone mentioned it in having this conversation in the beginning. A lot of this potentially could be reduced because we're going to have to go back to basics. So I think this conversation is worth having, but please keep that in the framework of that. A lot of these things we might be easily shaved off come in the next month or two, but we do need, I know personally, I don't know what my budget is to be able to authorize funding for clubs and societies. So we do need to come to something, and we need to have something workable.
Affiliation fees, we should be able to go quite quickly through. Who are we affiliated with this year?
Okay, I was just about to say, shall we go through it one by one?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll come to that, and it's 2 points. Please keep that in mind, and write it down.
Right, we'll start at the top then. If we go to sabbatical, travel, and subsistence.
Is everyone happy with salaries, by the way? So I
I think it's pretty much.
Is the salaries for 5 people, 3 people?
Here we go.
Take out the second vice president.
Second vice president.
Yeah,
if you look at what's on the second one,
Second row. Here.
that I'm still factored. So this is good because we can take 4,009 here because there's no vice president for campaign.
Yep.
So that's not a rule. When that was submitted before the.
Could we also take out the admin fee because our admin system is receiving the deputy president money as well?
That could be taken out as well.
Yeah, so that's.
I mean, that's
over 10 grand.
That's 10 grand right there.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Oh, there you go.
Well spotted.
Fantastic. Yes. So
Are you the admin assistant or the deputy president?
No,
I think the admin assistant.
She's admin. No, yes, you do.
I
Yes, you do. You know you're not the deputy president.
I am the
No, wait a minute. What's the
admin assistant.
Deputy
But
Well, you get the
deputy
deputy.
salary. That's why there's some confusion.
She's been with me because she's doing
I think. Right, okay, right. There was a bit of confusion there. The deputy president role has been reduced because it's been budgeted up until October or November, and then you'll find if we go along the months, you'll see that
Deputy president is
Yeah.
actually being paid for.
the drop. If you look at the difference between the deputy president and the admin assistant, the admin together from the that's why those figures are there. So we can't drop the admin assistant because it has already been factored in the budget for August, September.
Okay, but we can definitely drop vice president.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's only
Right.
the-
Still £5,000.
okay.
Why is it?
That's what we have to get there.
That's the difference between
We have
where
to
we
lose
want
that
to be
much money.
and where we're at right now.
Okay.
So that's, at the moment, that's 5,000, roughly 5,000 pounds, so no, 10,000. I'm going to use round figures because my brain's not working properly. So, but I'm down to under 10,000, so that's one page.
We have got it down more.
Plus the laptop, so
Yeah,
it's another
yeah,
$900.
as we go along, then we'll pick up. Sorry, I know we've had that conversation already, and
I'm just trying to be methodical.
trying to be, yes.
Okay, John, someone to write down the new figures on the
You
board.
should do that, that would be fantastic.
I'm happy to do it. Easy.
She's the number.
Okay.
So say you have to do I can
Yeah,
do it.
I'm happy to. Do you want precise figures or not?
Yes, precisely. Yeah, I'm talking right
Well,
now.
it's just 496.26 at the moment. That's the only one we're under just now.
Yeah. The reason we're not doing the on the screen is because
The thing is read
it's
over.
not allowing it for us to read anything because it's open office. I'm sure there's a way around that, but
Yeah, we can't. Technical ability at the moment.
so that.
It takes too long. So that's salaries.
That's salaries, yeah. Everyone happy with one?
I will leave you. I have to step out for a moment, and I'll leave you to debate the travel.
Okay.
Okay. So have these figures been changed to reflect the fact that we don't have Luke, or the other vice president?
Well, the actual positions that the deputy president role would have fulfilled were picked up. Some of them already by other officers, but moving forward, we need to take time to go through it. And I think that we go from them even further.
Some of these figures, are we talking Swank Hotel and Flying, or are we talking Youth Hostel and Berry for these numbers?
Personally, my expenses have been all planned out, and Berry and Virgin Hotels.
Okay.
Yes.
But not very much hotels because there's a requirement, and I'm not sure if you know the full background behind that. You can't use hostels, is that?
Executive made a decision prior to my time about hostels. It was a health and safety issue as far as one of you might speak more. No, okay. Health and safety issue as far as toilets, bathrooms. We couldn't guarantee safety if other people were staying within the hostels. Again, this is a motion or an executive discussion happened, so I'm not making it up, but I'm going from memory.
Came across this when we were doing the funding
Yes.
application last year. We tried to make it as cheap as possible and said that we would be happy to stay in a hostel in Newest, which we were probably could do anyone's debt, but because we couldn't confirm that and we were sharing bathrooms with other people, we went to Latitude. We looked into a hotel instead.
So it is a health and safety issue. There was reasoning for it. I don't know.
Where was your director come from? Where was that from? You said you couldn't.
That was you, Heather.
You might have said that as well.
Yeah. That was
This is
last
the kind of
May.
thing
It wasn't
that
executive
I don't even know where that's
It's
come
before our
from.
time.
But, you know, the idea of sitting with people's churches is what I would do.
Yeah, but that's saying they have the same policy.
So it's maybe another conversation that we haven't had and might be influenced elsewhere. I don't know.
Just checking, because
Yeah.
if you're talking about storing away, are we talking about like a £300 flight or a 20 quid ferry?
Well,
right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can
Although you
things
do
like
have to
that-
balance, because it's all very well saying, the ferry's only 30 quid, but you then have to take out a whole day extra at either end to travel, which if you're really busy,
Right.
that day will actually cost you more money than just getting the flight and all that.
I didn't
time
mean it like
is
that. I'm just
valuable
making
as
sure
well.
they're not assuming top end
There's
luxury.
never any top end luxury involved
No,
in the HISA. I can assure you of that.
We could take money off from the graduation show because it's happened. And
Yeah.
so, but
Was there any cost?
well, there was you going to Argyle.
Yeah.
There was Rachel going to the train tickets for Rachel going to Perth, and she went to Inverness. She lives in Inverness, but I doubt there'll be much expense to get to Inverness. There's Heidi travel to get to Moray. That was it because there wasn't many graduations that we had to go to. So we do not need to pay 997.80.
That in retrospect is probably an actual figure. I am working on an actual figure for the spreadsheet and working through that. So again, some of these reviews
But
and audits
like that could be somewhere where we cut money from.
Yes, no, you're right, and I think when
Feel
we
like
come
I
to
would-
the actual amounts will be under what we've already got in the budget. So again, some of this will
Would the
come in the end.
same not go for Freshers Week then? If there's only a small number of you going to each campus,
Yeah.
it would be a smaller
Yeah.
number. For
Yeah,
I'm going to hold my hands up here and say those amounts are being factored into the actual spreadsheet. I just haven't had the time to go
Yeah.
through everything.
With the Freshers' Week, there was somebody from
Anyone
each.
wants to do it.
There was somebody from the exec that went to each campus, like each academic partner. So that would be higher, but because there's only 4,
I didn't know there was enough people to go to every
they
campus.
doubled up a lot. So like a lot of people went to one person went to XP and one person went to 4. Like Heidi went to HTC, Blues, and Moray. Am I right? And there was one in Inverness that she went to for the postgrad. So that's 4 that she went to. Rachel went to quite a few. John went to quite a few as well. Yeah. So like there was a lot of doubling up. But that would be one that I highly doubt we spent 900 and
Yeah, well, that's an actual figure that will come up.
Yep. So that would be somewhere where we save a bit of money from as well.
I believe that when the figures are drawn up, they were done from averages, so the actual cost, because we didn't, at the time we were drawing up, didn't know who would be going where. It was all based off of some formula and averages based on locations and things like that. So therefore, the actual cost is probably significantly different.
Yeah.
Question. What vice president, the CS and CE, it is the two different vice presidents.
Yeah, it's not this
So we can get rid of.
Yeah.
That's only £3 I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the CE, you can anything CE get rid of.
Okay.
That's campaigns and events.
Yeah.
That's just over £2 right there.
Do we need the election promotion tour because we're not got a head next year?
Yeah.
We still need to promote who's going to be in the hub. We still need to have officers there to help set up the new hub. So we should still be holding elections.
You could also get rid of the deputy president.
That's the
Because-
external events central.
And general travel.
Because
Are you not having to travel?
but basically, the only times I've been out of my office is I went to Nestwalk and I went here.
Right.
So only times I get my office, I don't get to stay in my office. I get to stay indoors.
Right. So you
They
don't
really want to
want
keep me head in.
What else are you going to do? Deputy president.
All three of those, yeah.
So basically,
Well, although, see how you've got like external events central belt, isn't someone else in the executive going to pick things like that up?
Possibly.
Which external?
Someone only for sabbatical, is that right?
Say again?
Someone only for sabbatical officers?
Yeah,
Someone like
well,
some of these won't be
the
picked
thing
up,
is,
right?
in the next budget code in 552, there is executive travel. So I think they probably have external events in Central Belt
Right.
for in theirs. I could
Get
be
rid of
wrong.
them in there.
Can you just check quickly, Dave?
Yeah. But probably will be. I mean, somebody will be taking.
Yeah, so there's NUS conferences there, which would be in the Central Belt. So you could get rid of the whole deputy president.
The other thing,
expenses.
yeah. This a lot can come out of this because a lot can come
Well,
out of that because
go
we
back
didn't know
to
how many
one.
people would be elected by election.
Exactly, yeah, we're jumping ahead.
So anyway, but yeah, that's
Thank you.
Right, so we're getting rid of the deputy presidents.
yeah, all three of them.
1, 0, 4, 0.
That'll help.
Because I think
That's president.
so far my expenses have come to £6. No, £9. It was £9. It was £9, and then this time, because Heidi had to transport her son and get her son and back and forth. And I didn't have to pay anything because Heidi had to take it back herself. So I didn't pay anything. No, but you'll claim back your travel.
I mean, that's most of the savings that you need already done.
We
I know,
are trying to
and
get
honestly,
rid.
if I looked at it myself,
Woohoo!
We need £956.74 taken off. We could do
So,
it.
And £500 of that is going to be the
as
laptop.
soon as we get
It's doable. We're doing this, guys.
So I mean, you'll
Look
probably
positive.
see
Feel
that
the change.
disappear just with the
Yeah.
once you get the actual figures for the first
Feel the
three.
bird.
yeah, I couldn't put my hands up here, and I said I was going to do this and go through it, but I got to a stage where time with the facts out, and I was having too much fun last night, so I apologize.
Well, I think
So,
it's
I'm glad we're
a nice
back.
exercise for us all to see the work
It's
that goes
really-
into it.
yeah.
So
Excellent.
It's good to see members outside the exec see where the money goes
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
we're doing with the money we get.
Because I know at the councils last year there wasn't time to.
No, there wasn't the time for anything.
We just had to trust that
Yeah,
you'd done it well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite fascinating to look at 1 month how much UHISA costs and go, holy crap, that's more than my tuition fees.
Oh, yeah. And look, I just got
Not one of my tuition
I'm going
fees.
to put that up. I know people like yourself do this quite a lot, and I'm going to
Yeah, it's already been shaved off.
the amounts we're talking here, UHISA works basically to one of the lowest amounts of funding for any student association. So just bear that in mind.
Major
You're thinking
universities.
we're being a bit swanky here, per student, and given that we're working across a hardware area, we're doing all right.
I think it just made me realize how cheap my tuition fees are.
They don't treat it as cheap.
Okay.
Next code, or are we?
Or do you want to look at the stationery code to see what we would have saved on that?
Do we need to go that far? Because 502 might take the rest of it then.
Yeah, let's keep being
Yeah.
methodical.
I mean, do you want to go through the entire thing just?
Well, if we get to
Yeah,
that
with a surplus,
15,000,
you know.
then then we're going to go under that. I think for time's sake, if you're all happy, if we get to a figure that we can take off, we'll cease this here. We will go away and complete it properly and get a proper financial document for everyone to look at. Yeah, and then we can open discussions and take information from yourselves on what you think we should be spending the money on for and shovel in some of the numbers there to maybe give more money to a certain area. And even if we come under budget, we can have a large amount for the next generation. And if that's a possibility, open to any suggestions to go on that.
Right. Is everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
That is consensus. Very good. Okay, we'll go. Yeah. Executive travel assistance. So you can pretty much. How does that? Yeah. So you've got 8 reps, and there aren't that many.
So you're only going to have one.
I don't think that's.
Yeah, that was again estimated. We had 8 reps, and that's maximising the budget. So we
How many
can.
reps do we have?
You now have 7. No, we have 8 again.
And I know you can take off the NUS UK conference because that's already passed, and
Well, that's still factored in because it was what it cost. Did they all go?
no one went.
So we can take
Which
that.
one's in?
The NUS UK,
Okay.
not
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway,
Or is it the gathering or the
The
gathering?
gathering happened,
Can
and
you
we
guys
work
work
out the cost of what happened. I think that cost is already in there.
that'll be changed. No?
No, I went with
No, they're not. This
They haven't
this
happened
year.
yet.
Sorry.
They're in the same semester.
They're
Sorry, which one has already happened? And they'll be
Right. The gatherings
Yeah,
happened.
no,
Okay,
no.
can we just...
gathering.
Right, guys, we're just... Sorry. The gathering, the budget was... This is an example of the reality. So, 2,976.90, that is the figure we budgeted for. The reality is 830. We were 2,000 under budget. So that's an example of what will happen eventually. And sometimes it will come over budget.
Sorry, I thought nobody from you guys went to the gathering.
No, the gathering, we did. There was 5 or 6 of us there.
Yeah,
okay,
Good
right.
representation. And
It's
we can have discussions
the
about
NUS
that.
Scotland,
We can do it
the
on
NUS UK
It's the
conference
last
is
one,
what I
NUS
thought
conference.
we weren't going to.
Yeah, so we can say into...
But Maria says that Rachel and her went, so I'm going
You did go.
Yeah. But that,
Rachel,
no.
yeah,
Rachel,
I thought
but-
the name went as well as the national one.
This isn't from.
That's not last year, this is
that
this
would
year.
come-
This is
that-
for
this year.
That would have come out of last year.
Has it happened yet?
No,
No,
it's in.
in
It's in.
April.
So
We're
we
not
need-
going. No one's going. We're choosing to support the NUS zone conference. We feel that would be
Okay. Okay.
It's fine.
decisions made.
Right.
66874.
So that's what we can take out. It's not because...
It's not taking until.
Okay.
Well, we still have 8 reps, so I think everything else there still has my band and costs are still
Yeah,
very
yeah.
In reality, most of those costs will turn out to be lower than the actual stage.
Every other rep stuffs the other one in their suitcase.
You can't take your suitcase and go.
No, I mean like a
So
travel.
stimulus ain't much over there, so it's
Um,
and then I should go.
Yeah, I
No,
think...
closer to. Yeah.
Probably is this one you like. Yeah.
Right.
It gets
That's hosting, so that should be squeezed already. You've got.
Okay, so we can
You can take out the campaigns and events.
Well, we can take 1,500 there from the campaigns and events,
Yep.
and I think we've got a target already.
Well, that's it.
There you go.
Okay.
Right, are we all happy with doing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are we going to take a vote?
yeah. Can we
You're
have a
so, you're
vote
so,
on
you're
that?
so like
You
you
like
vote
the
right
vote?
now.
Let's actually do it.
That puts us £831.26 below the budget.
Below the line,
Well
so...
done, everybody.
I think as long as there's a commitment to keep going through the codes and trimming off even
Well, yeah,
what
that's
needs
what I was
to
going
be.
to say. We can still keep doing that right now, or we can move on to something else. So it's entirely up to yourselves.
Let's move on.
Let's move on, but
You go on.
But can we take
the
a vote?
executive's going to keep it.
Yeah, right, okay.
Go on and
One of the conversations we've had in executives meetings that has not been published, always once again, was that we, from the finance committee in the absence of a deputy, it was agreed that I would convene that. Now, if anyone else feels they're more qualified to do so, I'm happy to set aside. As a committee, I'm not sure it needs to be an executive officer. At least that is that the case. This is where I'm doing. Sorry, I'm the
I mean, I would depend on the commitments. Like, I'm doing accounting and stuff. Like, look
Yeah.
at this, like, I know like some places where
Yeah, absolutely. I was an accounts clerk 20 years ago,
Yeah,
of the
so
stuff that I'm
I
going to do is
would
like,
be, I was happy to,
well, we can have a discussion if you're happy to help us, we appreciate that. That remember your own contract and then you work under that as well, instead of you know, actually just bear that in mind.
yeah, that's what I was saying, like, you know, depending what it, like, how much commitment, but I'd be happy to help, whether or not to feel like if you need help.
You know yourself, it's a time-consuming, non-finishing exercise, and there will be cons, and we have to be as open and transparent as possible with that. So it is a long piece of work. I can put a time on it right now. Does anyone want to suggest how quickly you want to get this done and put in that as a requirement from UHI for us to go in? I know there's been deadlines that we've missed on this year.
I think it's really good that you've taken it here today for approval, and if that's what you've done, then I think that's all that we would expect at this point, because you're working to figure that we haven't been able to confirm finally for you anyway.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Again, that's going to fluctuate. So, and what was the deadline for the time of the reforecast?
It's this month, I've been told.
This month.
Yeah.
So that's October or
It will be November, biggest month. I'm just old and tired.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we have an anchor time. Can I suggest fortnight? And I'm really pushing myself on that one. So
You could give yourself a bit more time.
Well, I'd say maybe say a fortnight once you get a reforecasted figure from the UHI.
Well,
because till you get the final budget,
yeah,
you can't really.
Yeah, but there's work that can still be done in the meantime. And what I'd like to do is put together a provision report and such, and then we'll look at the reforecast, and then if they have to revise, or if it comes under or whatever. It should be that it's more.
I'd say 3 weeks is probably more realistic.
At the moment, it's like a stock and shares thing.
I'd say 3 weeks is probably more realistic.
Okay, that's great because I'm often not that big, so that's good. Okay, we're happy to move on. Can we have a show of hands? Move on. Move on, everyone.
Anyone else out there in DC? Oh no, Neil's on. And the other
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. That was a very, very useful exercise for myself as well. And thank you for
Yeah,
working your brains
I'd like
to
to
come
let
back.
us